It's about the political configuration in the South. Now, we have more people turning out for elections in the North than in the South. That's the demography. And if you can check INEC records, you understand that, look, Northerners come out on election day. We need to get more of Southerners to also be involved in the electoral process. When you check 2019 elections, you know, a lot of us, particularly in the South, said Buhari was not going to return. And you expect that those who were mouthing that Buhari was not going to return will be available at the polling
to
unit.
vote him out.
A sizable number of them were in their houses tweeting on Facebook, on social media, Buhari must not return, Buhari must not return.
While the actual voting
was taking, you know, those who wanted the man to return had mobilized themselves and said, look, he must return. So we have this voter apathy. We have more of voter apathy in the South. Should I say it's due to our level of enlightenment or level of education or ability to discern, or maybe not to discern? You know, these are issues that we have to look at. People always say, look, the North is always together. I said the North is not always together. It is because they know what politics is all about. They know how to play politics. They know when to give. They know when to take. You understand? And that's why you've had a lot of candidates from the North who have been able to do well in southern parts of Nigeria, because they have people who have been able to move across the border. I'll give you a typical example. Atiku Abubakar. Is one. No, but the facts are there. Is one of the, shall I say, is one of the most powerful members, you know, of the People's Democratic Party, and of course one of the most powerful politicians in Nigeria. And you understand why he's been able to build friends over a period of time. And for many people who do not know, as of 1993, Atiku was already contesting for presidential primaries of Social Democratic Party. So you can imagine between 1993 and now, the wife is from the Southwest. So he has a lot of friends, you know, especially from the Southwest. So for an Atiku contesting presidency, he's sure that his friends will help bail him out, you know, in the Southwest. So he might even successfully get 1/4 of all the 6 states in the Southwest should he contest election. Remember in 2003, Obasanjo contested election on the platform of the People's Democratic Party, and he did well in the North. Buhari contested against him in 2003, and Obasanjo beat Buhari in majority of the states in the North. So sometimes it's about politics, it's about reasoning, it's about plotting. You look at a graph and plot it and say, look, this is where we should be. This is what should be doing in the next 15 years. It's not as if the North is better than the South in terms of development. The answer is no. But the North knows how to angle for power. They know what to do, you know, to achieve what they want to get, and that's what the South too must do. But more than often not, we don't always agree. I think we have different ideologies. I think our level of education has also made it that, look, we have the ability to disagree and disagree for long periods. In the North, there are no permanent enemies. I'm sure a lot of people were surprised when Atiku stood in as the guarantor for Buhari's son when he got married recently in Kano. A lot of people have been surprised to say, look, Atiku and Buhari, yes, you know, but Atiku was the one that stood as a guarantor, because, you know, when you want to do their marriage, somebody needs to stand as a guarantor outside of the father. And Atiku stood in as a guarantor to say, look, I assure you that Yusuf will be a very good husband, you know, to this man. So they know, what they do. They know what to do to come together. And for the last man who says a southern president will guarantee will solve the security problem in the North, it's beyond having a southern president. I think it's about us having a solid security architecture. And like I said, we are not spending enough on security. How many soldiers do we have in Nigeria? The entire armed forces in Nigeria, I doubt whether they're up to 1 million. And that's when you had police, army, navy, air force, paramilitary. I doubt whether we're up to 1 million. Now, let's say worst case scenario, we are 1.5 million. For a country of over 200 million people, then it means we are even under-policed in the first place. So you can see now, we need to have more recruitment. What is the place of ICT in security as of today? Do we have a national crime database? So much so that if somebody commits crime in Ekiti and is convicted and is found guilty by a competent court of law, his name is immediately uploaded to a national database. Do we have the fingerprints of all of Nigerians? We are out somewhere, so that if somebody commits a crime, forensics people can look at fingerprint and be able to determine and say, look, Olalekan was the one that committed this crime. we have a lot of things to do. What is the place of ICT in our security? You understand? How many police stations even have functional ICT department? You understand? No. When you go to countries, not just in Europe or in the Americas, even in some parts of Africa, every police vehicle should have a functional laptop inside that police vehicle, so that, look, if I beat traffic light, say at Rumola, the policeman does not need to chase me. The moment he's able to get my plate number, he automatically puts it on
the network, and they can see you.
And they already know that, Olaliko is the registered owner.
Just drive.
Of course. Maybe before I even get to my destination, police is already calling me. You beat the traffic light at Rumola. If you love yourself, come and report yourself. If you will allow us to come to you, then you know the consequences of allowing us to come to you. So you can see that, look, we are not investing enough. Our borders are so porous that in many parts of Nigeria, the difference between Nigeria and Cameroon is just a footpath, not policed. So you can imagine that somebody can stroll into Nigeria, and stroll back.
Yeah.
So we need to spend more. We need to spend more on security. We are not just doing that at the moment. With close to 200 million illegal light weapons in the hands of people in West Africa. And Nigeria is the largest country in West Africa, the biggest economy. It means Nigeria will be the biggest attraction for criminals.